you think about it, I think it was the CEO of BlackRock 3 years ago. So before the pandemic, before the awful social crisis, and he talked about calling CEOs to attention, right, all over the world, that companies in the private sector had a bigger responsibility to both their employees and their customers to fulfill a gap in society that it was once assumed that the government would provide for people. So it was a call, you used the word, to service. I would say it was also called to purpose, right? So we had a responsibility to impact culture for the good. And the bottom line is, when you have those priorities and values as a company, it's good for business.
Please welcome Andrew Ross Sorkin and his guest, the chairman and CEO of BlackRock, Larry Fink.
Larry Fink is here, and of course, oversees what is now, I want to say almost about $8 trillion, give or take. There was a period which was about $10 trillion. I want to thank you for being here, because you've been on this stage now a whole bunch of times.
Right.
We appreciate spending time with you, in large part because I would argue that you have been a real pioneer on a lot of these issues that we talk about, ESG and the like. And that's why I wanted to have you here, especially this year, because there has been, as you know so very well, a backlash about ESG.
ESG stands for Environmental, Social, and Governance. You can think of it as an analysis framework to help measure and quantify the degree to which an organization is operating in a sustainable manner. Environmental assessment criteria help stakeholders understand an organization's impact on the environment and the climate, like its greenhouse gas emissions. The S pillar, social, examines an organization's social impact.
So then what does YouTube try and do? They try and peddle YouTube Black. They try and give us a spotlight. And do you know how condescending and patronizing that is? Oh yeah, let's give a spotlight to these Black creators because we're all about diversity. All this communicates is Black people aren't good enough on their own skill, on their own merits, on their own talent.
The G, as we know, is governance. So, how is the firm led and managed? Stakeholders are increasingly taking note that a healthy corporate governance function can make or break progress in the E and the S realms.
Hey, I'm Brian. My pronouns are he, his, him. I understand you're looking for a small business loan, but you're having troubles with your ESG score.
I was denied.
What's your business?
I operate drilling equipment, oil and gas.
Uh-huh. The E in ESG is for environmental. You're in a dirty industry.
So I can't get no loan?
Well, let's take a look at your company's social policies. Tell me about your plan to create social justice.
Social justice.
Do your employees get paid time off for abortions? And tell me about your diversity, equity, and inclusion plan.
Well, I ain't got none of that. I'm a driller. I just hire good people to do the work.
Well, maybe there's one more thing we can check. Do you have any female co-owners?
No, just me.
Ooh, have you ever identified as a woman? Or even just non-binary? It could really help your score.
What?
Your loan is denied. Come back when you fix your ESG score.
And this morning, Governor Ron DeSantis was in Jacksonville, where he signed a bill making ESG, or environmental, social, and governance, illegal in Florida. It bans banks and credit card companies from considering things like a business's diversity and inclusion policies or sustainability investments.
Apple has a plan and a promise to make Apple carbon neutral. Wait, no, we've already done that. To make every single Apple product carbon neutral by 2030. Even yours. We're working to make every iPhone, iPad, watch, and Mac with 100% recycled or renewable materials.
What does it mean to stay open? It means recognizing we all have different perspectives. It means honoring your truth and the truth of others. It means getting comfortable, being uncomfortable.
It was reported earlier this year that Activision Blizzard has a literal program called the Diversity Space Tool. It was developed alongside MIT and is used to help Activision Blizzard when it comes to deciding what characters to add in games like Overwatch or Call of Duty. The Diversity Space method is measured by 7 core principles. From culture, ethnicity, age, ability, body type, gender identity, and sexual orientation. Once a character is created, it's then fed through the algorithm and then it's broken down into 10 different rankings and then given a score. Things like skin color, for example, with white characters being ranked lower, are taken into consideration. This is likely why when Overwatch 2 launched, it had 3 new female heroes, each a different ethnicity, body type, and from different backgrounds. You may at first look at things like this and go, well, it's great for representation, right? But in reality, it's a smokescreen. It's corporations using algorithms and artificial intelligence to mass produce and manufacture tokenized products that they can then use to increase their ESG scores while scoring points with journalists and, in theory, their fan bases.
ESG regulations that label food production as high risk. Sounds crazy, right? Well, in January, the EU's controversial ESG regulations came into force, and they've been described by their proponents as the most ambitious yet.
I call it theft in the name of climate change. And how are they doing this? Well, they're waging a war of attrition against the farmers while simultaneously vilifying them continuously in the media. And that strategy has been proven to be very successful. Whenever I speak to our farmers now, I can tell that they are losing hope. And who could blame them? They've been badgered, intimidated, and vilified. They're afraid to be threatened, arrested, or even shot at again. They are afraid that they have lost the support of the people. The same people they provide with food every single day.